So, they say if you own an iPad, you most likely have got your life together. I mean, I'm still getting myself together, but I will say that there's some truth to it. As I navigate my adulthood in this massive city, I found that this iPad has been the most impactful device in my young adult life. From productivity, organization, managing my creative projects, and even strengthening social connections, my iPad has sort of harmonized different areas of my life. So let me show you how my iPad has become the most impactful device of my later 20s, and how it probably is yours too. Let's talk about it.
God, I've been walking in peace, gave me the key, I know that it's critical. Now that I'm here, I see everything that I need, found in the principle. And walking in fear, I'm done going back to the past. It really been minimal, I'm finna follow the king, I got a key. Know that I follow the principle, and I'm good, and I'm lit. I got God so I don't need a trip, give to him everything that I'm in. Off in the hill and I know I won't miss, brought me up from the gutter. Now I'm good and that's word of my mother. Not afraid, I know I'm a runner, you finna see. God, I've been walking in peace, gave me the key, I know that it's critical. Now that I'm here, I see everything that I need, found in the principle. And walking in fear, I'm done going back to the past. It really been minimal, I'm finna follow the king, I got a key, know that I follow the principle.
It is a beautiful day today. But I showed y'all, how I use the iPad to work out. And honestly, it's not just about fitness. Like, y'all know I live in New York City, I rep it strong, but this is a very high stress, like high productive hustle culture work environment. And I realized that as I navigate my adulthood, I learned that how I de-stress is just as important as how I work hard. So my iPad actually helps a lot in this area. Just as a former college athlete, fitness and competing has always been my peace, like literally my sanctuary. So Apple Fitness Plus has been like a game changer for just how I balance like stress and my workflow, to be honest. Like being able to learn different workouts on there, like kickboxing, they got yoga, which is mad hard, by the way. Yoga, Pilates, just like being able to be introduced to different forms of physical activity has been really good for my mental health, like for real. Another way my iPad has helped me like manage stress, aside from fitness, is just by being a multimedia device. So like using it to stream Netflix and Hulu, YouTube, and the million other streaming services that I pay way too much money for. It just really helps take the edge off.
Shameless, low down, breaking.
Everything is about balance, right? And I realized with this iPad, I really gotta be balanced. Like, for example, there are times where I'm super locked in and I'm just using my creative apps. I'm using my notes app, I'm scripting all the time. Like, I'm creating thumbnails, I'm using Procreate, I'm using Canva. And then I kind of get burnt out creatively, right? That'll slow me down because once I'm burnt out, I ain't making nothing. But then there are times where I may chill too much, where I'm watching way too much YouTube on the iPad, I'm watching way too much Netflix, I'm just doing way too much chilling. So this device has reflected my output to it, you feel what I'm saying? So it's imperative for me to be like balanced productively, do what I gotta do on Canva, Procreate, my notes app, but also kick back. And that balance that I found has led me to create more videos. Maybe not necessarily more YouTube videos, but I've created more short form content, which has elevated my long form content. So I'm just saying that this iPad has integrated so well within this section of my life because it's powerful enough to meet all of my needs in the different areas. So, man, I love this thing for real. Like, this iPad has been a great reliever of stress, but also a great boost to my productivity.
Tell you my problems, meditating my silence. But I keep pushing my pen, rotating my stylus. Brokenness feeling like seeing, and I know breath low dollar.
I'm 27, working full-time to not only pay this rent, but fund my creative endeavors. As my channel grows and life just becomes more busy, I've been leaning on my iPad hard to keep me somewhat organized and on track. When it comes to apps, I'm sort of basic. To stay on track, I use Apple Calendars, and if it ain't in my calendar, it is not happening at all. That and the Reminders app. Just being reminded of the little things that add up during the day is super clutch and really be saving me. Apple Calendar, the Reminders app, those are my two go-to apps for staying organized. Let's talk. So I really can't stress the importance of using Apple Calendar, especially for me as a creative entrepreneur. I remember when I first started my YouTube channel, I was so out of schedule and just not structured to the point where I was rarely getting things done. So I think me using Apple Calendar is sort of like a trauma response from being so disorganized for the first few years that I was creating content. But as much as I use Apple Calendars and reminders, I will say my most important application that I use when it comes to managing my life is the file manager. From scanning important documents, labeling them in folders, and just having all of my important and pertinent documentation at a moment's glance, super important. And it's important because when you're adulting, documentation is everything. I have my entire health insurance coverage plan detailed, highlighted, and documented in this iPad. I have my updated apartment lease on here, which there is an update. For y'all that followed my apartment tour, my apartment is no longer 1850, but I'm gonna tell y'all more about that in the next apartment video. I have all my tax documentation from each year, student loan information, bro, literally everything that's important for me as an adult, I have in a files manager. And it's crucial that I have it at a moment's glance whenever I need it, wherever I may be. I stated earlier in this video that this iPad has been the most impactful device of my 20s. And honestly, the way that I utilize my iPad has been very, hella conducive to that statement. This ain't just a device to draw on and be creative with and just watch Netflix all day. It's a tool that adapts to my everyday needs and literally supports my livelihood. And as my life is constantly busy with emails, managing bills and expenses, planning my next creative projects, and so far and so forth, this is the tool that I've leaned on the most during my adulthood.
Look, Moving too bossy, we don't tread softly, but not flossy, the streets done taught me, moving too bossy, we don't tread softly, but not flossy, the streets done taught me. I'm just tryna get my niggas paid. We came from Section 8, and I knew I was that nigga since the 2nd grade. Man, I swear my time is coming, cause I'm never.
You know, it's funny that this is the part of the video where I talk about my personal finances. And this is also the part of the video where I talk to you about some of the accessories that I use to optimize my experience when using this iPad. It's just funny because all the accessories I use cost mad money, like literally mad bread. So I had to loop it in and tie it all together. But money, you can't talk about living in New York City and not talk about finances. I know finances is a very tricky and sensitive topic to a lot of people. But we're gonna get right into it.
Look, why do I feel so blue? I need a meal like you. I need some bitches, some friends, and some jewelry. I'm trying to get like you. Sign me a deal like you. Foreign my whip like you. Give me a gun and pop me a nigga. I'm trying to be lit like you.
So prior to me having this iPad, I would say my financial literacy wasn't really the best. Like, I have a few credit cards, I have some student loan debt, and I was just swiping my credit card, not fully understanding like interest rates, and you know, just like the whole financial literacy thing. And I would put myself in situations, pay down debt, and then put myself in those situations right back again because I was in the toxic, like, kind of cyclical nature of like not understanding like the gravity of like my financial purchases and my decisions and stuff like that. So it just got to a point where I knew I needed to like do something. And that's when like I discovered, like, real talk, like I could do a lot of this stuff in my iPad. So in my notes app, all I do is like create these like little spreadsheets where I track, you know, my interest rate, my monthly payments, and pretty much like everything that has to do with my student loans and my credit cards. And once I was able to start tracking this stuff in my iPad, I was able to get a better understanding of my financial health, which I learned wasn't really that healthy at all.
These niggas is missing the hard work, they calling it talent. And I find that disrespectful cause I put on the mileage. Up for the shit, but I'm down for the challenge.
Before I actually transition off into the accessories, it is very expensive living in this city. Things just cost. You know, I watch a lot of YouTube and it just seemed like everything more expensive in the city. Ubers, eating out, like even like the little things. So I don't track all of my spending, literally just my credit cards and my student loans. But I think that's the next step. Like actually tracking everything and trying to see if I can notice habits and cut areas where I know I could spend less so I can save more money. Because as y'all seen, Joe Biden, he ain't fall through. They shot his student loan debt relief program down in court. So it's a dub for that. But let's get into these accessories. All right, so I don't use a lot of accessories, right? And I'm a little bougie. I know I just talked about finances. I'm a little bougie, though. I only use first-party accessories. I don't know. I do know, actually. It's just the first-party accessories work the best. Obviously, Apple is creating these, but with that comes, you know, it's pricey. So the first thing, the Apple Pencil. I just feel like if you have an iPad, you need to have an Apple Pencil. Again, I do a lot of designing on the iPad in terms of creating thumbnails, and I'm not even touching the surface of what this iPad in combination with the Apple Pencil can do. You can get really artistic with it. But for me, it's a non-negotiable. It is very, very important in my workflow. So the second thing, and I think the only thing, now that I'm like talking about it, is the Magic Keyboard. For me, it has been the key to unlocking this iPad's versatility. I won't say power, I'll say versatility, because this iPad, without the Magic Keyboard, it's like, it's a slab. It's a powerful slab. and you could get real creative with it. If you just have the iPad with the pencil, it's cool. But when you throw on that magic keyboard, I feel like that's when you unlock the admin side of things. I feel like without the keyboard and just the pencil, you can get the creative thing. But when you got the keyboard with that, you can also get the admin thing where you could bring this to your classroom now, and this could be your primary computer. You could type essays. You can be better in file organization. Like pretty much everything your Mac can do, in my opinion, but with, you know, some limitations, your iPad could do with this magic keyboard. And I feel like when I combine the magic keyboard with the Apple Pencil, I'm getting the best of both worlds. I'm getting that creative side, but I'm also getting that admin side. And for me, being a creative entrepreneur, that's what it's about. You feel what I'm saying? Like just the flexibility to have this assist me in my creative projects while also assisting me in some of the, you know, the admin things like creating my invoices, having a file management system, being able to type up everything that I need and not having to like use the keyboard on the actual screen, which is crazy. But those are the only two I use, the Apple Pencil and the Magic Keyboard. Apple Pencil is about $100, Magic Keyboard $350. So together you're looking at $450. After taxes, probably around like in the mid 500s. But I will say it is very, very worth it if you're a creative and you're a student and you know you need something to elevate your iPad. Very worth it. But yeah, I hope that makes sense. Just tying in my personal finances with the accessories because it costs. And to be in this city, it costs. So yeah. Alright, I know I probably make this look easy, but filming yourself is mad difficult. Like, honestly, being a creator in general is mad time consuming, is mad difficult. First of all, my brain is always on because I'm always looking at things with an artistic kind of point of view. I feel like once you start creating, you can no longer look at the simple things normally. Everything got a different meaning. But I think as I've developed as a video producer and creator, I've used my iPad in several different apps to kind of hone in on my craft. But first, I talked about filming myself, and this is basically how I get it done. So I use my iPad as my external monitor, and I have it connected to my camera. And I also have my notes app pulled to the side so I can stay on track while I deliver my A-rolls. So, you know, sometimes I can get a little bit off track, and having a script right there that's handy is like super clutch. So this is pretty much my setup. I'm also using my iPhone light to light me, since as y'all can see, this is how dark it is here and I don't have any other lights. So I'm using the back camera light to do that. So I'm not gonna lie, if you're gonna use this setup, you need a lot of patience because the latency between my camera and my iPad, it can be horrendous, especially as you go further distances. But I'm not gonna lie, it works for me. Like, I'm a solo creator. I mean, sometimes I have help, but a lot of times I don't. So it's important for me to be able to use my iPad because I need to be able to, you know, compose myself and see my framing, see that I'm in focus, and overall it just helps me create videos when I'm by myself. So that's pretty much my setup. You know, being a creative is all about flows. It's about ebbs and flows, to be honest, but it's all about flows and what gets you in the groove. And I realized for me, I need to be in a constant cycle of music, exploring, and note-taking. Those three things: music, exploring, and note-taking. And to stay in the zone, I use the Notes app. Like, I have a whole note dedicated to inspiration where I take photos on my phone. Can't take photos on the iPad. You look crazy doing that. But I ain't gonna say you can't do it, but you're gonna look crazy doing it. But I take pictures on my phone of like different spots in the city, you know, different spots that make me feel something, like things that look aesthetically pleasing. But it's important that I have that with also a pair of AirPods so that I can cook up, like really get in the creative flow of making my next projects and visualizing them.
Back to the basics, been a lot of things, but I never been basic. Run around bases, came from the basement, never been shameless.
So hopefully when focus and autofocus is working, But the next app that I use creatively on this iPad, and I won't lie, to this day, I'm still like amazed how much it blew up, but Canva. I cannot say enough about Canva, especially on a bigger display with a stylus. So I use Canva Pro to create my thumbnails, and you'll see as a creator, like things are about efficiency. Like you can get bogged down with a lot of like nitty gritty details, and things that speed up your workflow are heaven sent. There are great templates, thumbnail templates on Canva where I just choose a template and then I customize it, but I don't gotta be wasting time on creating like the whole template, like the whole foundation. I just pick a template that suits the aesthetic of that thumbnail and then further customize it. So I love Canva, but more than just the creative side of things, like Canva for admin stuff is clutch. I've created resumes for family members, for friends, my own resumes, and those resumes have gotten me and them jobs. Like the ability to really get granular in editing and detailing a resume on this is fire. Again, great templates, great resume template. And that's honestly a great skill that a lot of you should hone in and develop, creating resumes, because you always gonna need one, unless you're a boss. But I feel like you always gonna need one. And the last thing that I've been doing in Canva as of recently is creating my media kit. And if you don't know, a media kit basically tells potential sponsors or brands who you are. It tells them your demographic, your analytics, and a bio of the kind of content that you make. And I'm struggling creating mine. It's not necessarily like choosing a certain font or design. It's just telling the brand who I am. And I don't got like identity issues and nothing like that. Like I know who I am. And I could tell you if I met you, like, yo, I'm D Dames and I make X. But I feel like writing it down has made it super like brain fog, memory fog, like to really like get it concrete. No, you good. You good. So yeah, I'm struggling right now to kind of solidify my media kit. But right now, those are the three things I'm really utilizing Canva heavy for. My thumbnails, or at least part of my thumbnails. I have a whole, workflow for that. But starting my thumbnails, resumes, and my media kit. Okay, these are the last creative apps that I use on my iPad. And I'm doing this app such a disservice, but Procreate is so powerful, and I basically use it to just put like little doodles and scribbles on my thumbnails, and that completes the process of me starting it in Canva and then taking it into Procreate and finishing it. But for all of you artists out there, designers, this is an app for you. Like, you can use this app crazy. So Procreate, #1 for sure. And lastly, VSCO. I use VSCO to not only edit my photos, like really it's the only thing I use to edit my photos. I know people use, Photoshop and a bunch of other different apps, but I've stayed on VSCO and I'm loyal to the apps that are great for me. Hold on, my thing is dying. Okay, I'm trying to speed run this. I hope I'm still in focus. But yes, VSCO, not only great for photo editing, but for finding inspiration as well. I've definitely screenshot different images and put them in my mood board because it's a great social connection app to meet other creatives. And you can learn. You learn different recipes, how to create different filters, how to get different looks. So yeah, I use VSCO to edit my photos and then find creative inspiration. So I think those are all the apps that I use on this iPad that helps me creatively. Yeah. If you've made it to this point in the video, I really, really appreciate y'all, for real. Recently hit 5K on the channel, and genuinely, I can't believe that there's 5,000 of y'all that genuinely rock with what I'm putting out. Like, it's a good feeling, hit a milestone, And for real, I can't say thank y'all enough. This is my 100th video, and I hope I made this special. Like, I hope that those of y'all that's watching, like, took something out of it, was entertained, and that, you know, I did a good job producing my 100th video. So I wanted to start off with that. And I guess for this last ending piece, I really don't want to do any B-roll like that. It's just me and you connecting, talking to the camera for like these last few bits that I'm gonna get off. But y'all, I stand on it. This iPad has been the most impactful device of my 20s. And really my 20s have been defined by my work, my creative endeavors, connections, taking my health and my well-being more seriously. That's really what encapsulates my 20s. But I gotta be truthful. In my intro, I talked about how this iPad has helped me, you know, foster and develop my social connections. And that's a little bit of a lie. The truth is, I've been so locked in myself and so focused on the grind and what I gotta do that I really haven't spent the time that I normally do developing those connections, whether it be through friends and family. Like, I've really just been locked in on the grind. I don't know if y'all listen to Jordan Ward, but he got a song called 311 that I've been having on repeat. And he has a line in the song that goes, "So afraid to fail that I ain't moving in love." And that line is so relatable. It is insane. I mean, everything is up for interpretation, music, art, whatever. But for me, I took it as, you know, I've been so locked in, like being so locked in on, you know, succeeding, because what's the opposite of succeeding? Failure. Being so locked in succeeding in what I got going on, keeping my head down low, editing, but in his case, making music. Just really prioritizing yourself has led me to not prioritize other people or connections, right? That's how I took that line. And I'm obviously bringing this up because, one, my iPad has been a proponent in being able to lock in and like boost my productivity and essentially get everything that I need to done and really keep my head and my nose down. But number two, naturally, as you're prioritizing yourself and your work, the social connections can start to suffer. Like, bro, this is an expensive undertaking. Like, getting all this camera equipment, buying all these products to review, like, it's expensive, and like my time is valuable. Like, come on, I talked about finances. It's such a big thing, period, as you know, being an adult and taking care of your own bills, but especially living in this expensive city. So I'm bringing these things all up to show you how, one way or another, I said there's two sides to one coin. I can't talk about being productive on this iPad without talking about the other side of that, which is how social connections can start to falter. So yeah, that's pretty much been my journey, at least in terms of like the social aspect of things. But look at that, back to the angle we started it. But I guess to wrap all of this up, iPads are expensive, right? iPads are expensive. These are an investment. Of course, depending on how you use it. But if you're creative like me and you're thinking about pulling the trigger and you haven't, you know, copped an iPad yet, I highly suggest that you do, because it's only gonna help what you got going on. If you have an iPad and you're underutilizing it, I highly suggest that, you know, you take some of the tips that I've done in this video and look at other videos and start utilizing this tool, because honestly, this might be the most powerful computing device in your crib. And I know most of us got iPhones, but what you can do on an iPhone is not limited by the processing power, but by the display. It's very small. So having this is great. So yeah, that's how I've navigated New York. This is why it's the most impactful device of my 20s. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm kind of winging this outro right now. My name is D Dames, and I make videos. Actually, let me revamp this outro. I'm giving y'all some extra long, just talking too much content, because I want y'all to like really feel me and see me for this 100 video. But I just recently came from the B&H Build Expo, and great, I was talking to a bunch of creatives, and I showed y'all that I was struggling with trying to finish my media kit, like the About Me section. And I talked to some people today, some creators, and they was like, "Oh, what do you do?" And I said it with confidence, said it with ease, like what my channel is about and what I do. And it smacked me in the face after I said it, like, yo, this is what it's about. This is exactly what I'm writing in the media kit. So I'm gonna say it, rephrase it for this outro. My name is D Dames, and I make videos about tech and lifestyle. But I don't make your traditional tech reviews where I'm talking about specs and, giving you like a whole rundown of what this can do. I integrate it in my lifestyle and I see how it works for me. I'm an athlete. I'm a guy trying to make it in the city, focus on growing. And I take tech products and I show you how it helps me in my lifestyle, or if it doesn't, and then maybe that helps you as well. So that's what I told the creatives, and that's what this channel's about. So if you rock with that, give it a subscribe, like the video. I know they say don't be saying that stuff, but hey, why not? Go against the rules. I hope y'all enjoyed this 100 video, man. Deuce.
We addicted to fast cars, bad bras, late nights, last calls, alcohol, bad bitches scrolling through the phone log. Hit 'em up, all my niggas pick 'em up. We bout to have a time tonight. Sure you keep that burner tuck, cause niggas like to creep low. Say motherfuck the PO and the judge. But if they come with us, just know it's love. I'm saying just because. Yeah. We been coming from welfare, Medi-Cal, healthcare, living in the hood is hell.